Welcome to another live. This is not Tuesday. What is going on here? Well, first of all, I want to say thank you. It looks like we have Freddie on here tonight. I have Christopher in the studio with me. That's my son. So, Freddie, we're going to hang out for a little bit. Hopefully some other people are going to tune in. I warned everybody and said that at some point this week we would do a live studio tour. So we are prepared to do that. You can see the room is a little lighter than normal. I do have the overhead lights on, and that's because we're going to be walking around the studio, and it's just going to look a lot better if I have those lights on. So Christopher is in the chat. He's going to help me keep an eye on that because I am going to be moving around. And I do have the gimbal out, though I don't have my phone on it right this second because I was actually controlling some lights right before we launched. So Freddie, let me know. It's good to see Noel here. And thank you for joining me, Noel, from Puerto Rico. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. So we'll get this fired up, and we're going to actually tour the studio. I have a number of slides ready in PowerPoint. We're going to be able to bring those on the screen. I have a video that I'm going to show you. Actually, two videos. One is a tour of my garage. Why in the world would I show my garage? And that's because I have secret stuff out there. And a lot of the stuff that I take out when I'm doing shoots, both photography as well as videography, is stored in the garage, and it's not in the studio. There are things in the studio I do take with me, and we're going to go through the studio tonight. This is probably going to be 2 hours, so you better grab something to drink right now. Get your cup of coffee. I have my coffee right here, and I have my ice drinks right here. I don't know. Do you have anything to drink back there? Water. My son has water, and we'll introduce Christopher a little bit later in the show. So I have two of these tonight to get us through. I will be live on Tuesday, regular time, 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So I hope you'll join me there. So why are we doing this studio tours? Because I promised once we hit 1,000 subscribers, and we're quite a bit over that now, I think in the 20s. So 1,020 some odd. I think it was 23 yesterday. I haven't looked today. But first of all, I want to thank you so much for subscribing. You can chat if you subscribed. I do have chat turned off for non-subscribers only because you can join us and chat if you want to. You just have to subscribe to the channel. 5 minutes later, you'll be able to chat. And again, Christopher's going to be helping me in the chat tonight and letting me know, oh, I see Conjoling Technologies on here. And thank you for joining me. Sparkle Ice, yeah, it's Sparkle Ice, so it's right here. And so just keeps the whistle wet, old slang from long time ago. So again, I want to let you guys know, just jumping on, I do have my son Christopher with me. He is going to be on the live stream a little bit later when we get into the podcast set, and we'll talk just a little bit about music and things that he's passionate about. And again, that's kind of one of the things I want the channel to represent. Number one, obviously the stuff that I'm doing and the things that I can share and show you here, as well as my post show on Tuesdays, which is right after the main live show. That's a little bit more behind the scenes, a little bit more personal stuff. Even last week, I shared some really personal stuff in that my father-in-law had passed away last week. And I did a little shout out to him, went through a book that we took pictures of and gave to him. And so the post show will be a little bit more personal stuff. And this live show today is going to be about the studio. And then the live show on Tuesday actually had a request to look at doing graphics for the Hyperdeck. So we're actually going to do a graphic together on Tuesday night. That's in the regular live at 4 p.m. And then at 5:15, approximately, we do the post show. And I have some special stuff for that as well. Obviously, some more behind the scenes as well as some personal stuff. And obviously, Q&A. We do a lot of Q&A also in that post show. So I hope you'll join me for that. Again, thank you so much for subscribing. We hit 1,000 subscribers, and some of you have been asking me, am I going to monetize my channel? I'm in the process of doing that. It's like a 3-step process just to get to the point of having your channel monetized. And then after that, I have some choices to make. So I'm going through that process right now. And we'll talk about that probably a little bit in the post show this Tuesday, that process, and I'll explain some of the choices I'm going to make there. I want to focus in on the studio tour tonight. and not take anybody with me on a rabbit trail. So hopefully you're ready. I just want to see who else has joined us, if anybody else has come in. So I think I've said hi to everybody. Again, my son Christopher is in the chat. Freddie is in the chat tonight. Thank you for joining me, Freddie. I will just read these here real quick. Conjoined Technology says hi. What's up, Chris? So Christopher can respond to that in the chat. He said he's great. And let's see. Cool. Freddie says thanks. I commented on the sparkly ice. Christopher asked you guys how you're all doing today, so you can respond to him. He's actually my oldest son and the wisest of the bunch, I think. I don't know. He's laughing at me right now. So anyway, so I actually have added some new tools, and you saw those in the still images. I have the new Logic keyboard. That's just to save space on my desk. Plus, I can choose 3 different devices. So I can have my PC. I can also use my laptop. I can also use my iPad if I want to, and I have it open tonight to do mix effects, to run the macros, and I've already been pushing macros tonight to get started. The intro slide, then I push a button to do the intro video, and I can then choose buttons for different things tonight in the studio. So again, welcome. Let's get started. Again, buckle your seatbelts. We have a couple hours together tonight. Try to keep it as close to 2 hours. So it is 10 after now on my clock. So we'll get rolling. And I want to kind of go through these slides tonight, as well as get up the mobile camera. And so I am going to have to hook up my iPhone here in a minute, but we'll do that when the slides are up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through different aspects of the studio, right? And then we're also going to play that video for you of my tour of my garage. And you say, again, why the garage? Well, out there I have my photo kind of set up so I can go out there and shoot photographs. I've done high key photographs there. We did some green screen work, which you can see here on my channel. You're going to see the green screen come down. You're going to see the other 2 colors that I have up come down. You're going to see my mobile kit for my lights. You're going to see my storage case out there. I'm going to actually show you right now where Ratso resides in his case. You're going to see that in the studio. If Ratso shows up tonight, we'll see. So far, he was not planning on making an appearance tonight, but we'll see what happens before the night is over. We're going to actually show you the podcast set, and it's set up with 2 chairs in the hallway, so we'll bring those in and show you that. We're going to show you a little bit of my bedroom. That's right. Only the part that I was using for my original studio before we moved into this room. This was the man cave. And I showed pictures of that before. I will possibly get a picture out tonight. We'll see how that goes. I do not have a picture ready of that, but I do have some footage of me doing videos in there. And then I have some footage of what it looks like now. And it's been transformed back into kind of the bedroom set. But literally, I shot down one of my walls with the bedroom window. And you're going to be able to see that in a video later tonight. So I hope you guys will stay tuned for that. Okay, so anybody else here in the chat? Christopher, I don't see anybody else. What? Oh, yeah, there's Tony. Good to have you, Tony. Thank you so much for joining us. And check out Tony's channel. In fact, actually do some research and check out everybody tonight in the chat. See if they have a channel. If it interests you, subscribe. If it doesn't interest you, say hi. Let them know that you saw them in the chat tonight on my channel would be great. And if you haven't liked the video tonight, please like it. Please share these videos. Let me tell you a little bit what we're going to do with this before we get started. First slide is I'm going to chop this up, and I'm going to make these as upload videos. I'm also going to timestamp tonight's video later this week, and so there'll be timestamps in it, so you could go back and review a section if you wanted to skip this whole intro and go right to different areas if you're trying to study how to do that. I know a lot of people tune in and they're trying to learn how to use the HyperDeck. They're curious on how I use an ATEM and Extreme together. They're also curious of what my plans are in the future with the studio, and I do have a slide tonight ready to show you an idea that I have. Hopefully we'll get to that. If not, we will roll that over to Tuesday night. But again, we'll be on tonight for a couple hours, so let's get rolling. So let me do this first. Let me switch to, still things working good? Okay. Let me switch to a different view here real quick. And let's see here. Where are you? Me and Facecam. So again, this is my desk right here, the beginning of the tour. I've got my Wacom tablet right here, and you can see it's got my PC screensaver on it. I'll move the microphone a little so you can kind of see that over the shoulder. I can also show you my downward cam. Just going to refire that up because it times out after 30 minutes, and then I'll switch to that. So let's switch over here. And so you can see the Wacom tablet right here. Somewhere on my desk, I have my Wacom pen right here. And so what I can do is I can actually bring open PowerPoint, and it's not open right here. It's actually open on my monitor. So we'll switch back to this view. And so right now I have my PowerPoint slides right here already. And what I'm doing is I'm duplicating my Wacom tablet, and this is a part of the studio tour tonight because this is the tool I'm going to be using. I can actually write on my PowerPoint slides as well, and I'll show you a downward view of where you click to make that happen. But so right now you can't see that, even if I was to put up the desktop view, which is what you're seeing right now because I've chosen my camera 3. But if I switch over to my PC and then switch over to that, so I'll switch over to that right now, you're just going to see my desktop because that's all that's up right now coming into my ATEM Extreme, and that comes in through channel 3, and I'm feeding that over from my ATEM Mini Pro, which we're going to look at here in a slide. So now, how do you get the slides on the screen? We're going to do that now. So let me switch back to a different view right here. So it is this one. That didn't work. There we go. So now you see that screen. So I'm in basically a super source layout with me obviously on the screen. And then next to me, I have my PC desktop. So as soon as I launch this PowerPoint display, you do that just like any other PowerPoint, you go down to the little window and you say, I want to project, and it pops up. And this is the disaster of my studio. This is the last slide we're going to look at, but I wanted to start with it tonight just because I thought it was hilarious. So let's just jump back here to slide 1, and it's the studio live tour. So again, I want to take you through these slides because it kind of helps you. People are asking for layouts and pictures. It makes a little bit more sense for people. So let's go ahead and go to our first slide here. And so in reality, I can write on this. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to switch back to my camera 3, and you're going to see it pop up here for a second. And so all I have to do is on the bottom here, if I hover with my Wacom pen, I get this little menu down on the bottom, and I can click on the pen menu, and then I can choose if I want to highlight, if I want to pen, what color it is. So let's just choose the red because it's easiest to see, and then I can click out of that, and as long as I have it lit up, I should be able to show you my first input there on the screen. So we'll cut back to the other view. It's just a little easier to see that. And so you can see now I drew a little circle around input number 1, and that's my Canon 5D Mark III, and we're going to show you these things hooked into the ATEM here in just a minute. And then next to that, I have a switch right now, and this is one of the things I'm thinking about changing, and I'll show you that slide later tonight in the tour, but I'm thinking about losing the ATEM Mini Pro, putting it in a mobile kit, even though I eventually want an extreme ISO in my mobile kit, but move it to my mobile kit and add another extreme ISO in the studio. And so that kind of changes the way I would configure both of my ATEM Mini Extremes ISOs in my studio once I add one. But right now, this is the way it's hooked up for tonight's live stream. And so in the first input, I just have the Canon 5D Mark III. In the second input, I have 2 things that are available to me. I can bring in my streaming bridge, which is a little device underneath my desk. It's made by Blackmagic Design. And the idea of that is that if you have an ATEM at your residence or a web presenter, Doesn't matter if you have the Extreme or if you have the regular ATEMs. If I send you the link, you can actually broadcast from your camera in your studio to my streaming bridge. And then if I wanted to flip that switch, and we'll look at my switches here in a minute, I can choose that input in input number 2 instead of my HyperDeck right now. And I may not have my HyperDeck plugged in here anymore, because I already have the fill and key channels you're going to see in the Extreme slide here momentarily. But that's just how I'm using input number 2 right now. So I can choose between my streaming bridge or the HDMI out of my HyperDeck. And that's my new HyperDeck HD Plus. And that was mainly to show people that in SuperSource, but I could also bring it into SuperSource through the 2 channels it's in, and that's channel 7 and 8 in my Extreme, and we'll look at that slide in a minute. So those are 2 devices. So again, I can bring in the streaming bridge by clicking this little switch, and it's just two buttons. We'll look at that here in a minute. So I could choose between the streaming bridge, or I could choose between the HyperDeck. Now in the next input, which is input number 3, again coming into my ATEM Mini Pro, which is right here on my desk on the left. I can bring in my PC, which is also going to let me bring in my web camera. Now, I switched up web cameras just for tonight and last Tuesday, but normally my face cam by Elgato resides in my PC, and then my Logitech camera is always inside my laptop. And that way I could bring 2 separate cameras that are USB cameras into my live stream by using my desktop, as long as my desktop is coming in, and they both do come in. So I can choose between that, or if I want people to see multi-view, I could bring in multi-view. So if I wanted to demo that to a client, if I was training someone in a consult, or if I was talking about multi-view in the live show, I can then bring my multi-view on the air. Now that's the multi-view from my Extreme ISO. I do not have my multi-view hooked up from my ATEM Mini Pro. And that's another reason why I would like to have another input, so I can show, when I'm training on the ATEM Mini Pro, I can show people what that multi-view looks like, because it's completely different than the multi-view for the Extreme ISO, because you have so many more channels and so many different layouts that you can do with the Extreme ISO that you can't do with the ATEM Mini Pro. And if you have the ATEM Mini, you don't have multi-view. You only can do certain inputs out, no multi-view. You have to have the ATEM Mini Pro or the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, the newer 2 models of that line, in order to be able to show multi-view on a screen. And so a lot of people were buying the C-Tech monitor and bringing in all of their cameras into it first, and then it had a loop out into their ATEM Mini, so they could have all 4 inputs on the screen, but it's still not the same as the ATEM Mini Pro and the ATEM Mini Pro ISO multi-view, because it gives you streaming information, it gives you how much disk space you have left, and I think those are really important things. So that's that. So then if you go to input number 4, and that's where I'm going to bring in my camera. So I could bring the program in. So let's say for some reason I wanted to go to another location and send this program, then I could switch to program on my switch to that channel number 4 in my ATEM, go inside the control software of my ATEM Mini Pro, and I could stream it. I could also stream that to a streaming bridge to someone else's show if I wanted to. So let's say someone else wanted me on their show. I could use my bridge then to send that out to someone else's live stream by going out through my program out, and or into my ATEM Mini Pro with my program from my Extreme ISO, and then sending that out as a live stream to a streaming bridge. And when you stream to a streaming bridge, that's all they'll get. They won't get a show. They'll get whatever I switch to inside my studio. And so again, I would have to use a camera inside my ATEM Mini Pro or send the program to it. And that's why I feed the program from my Extreme ISO into that. So those are the inputs. And then the other thing is, which is what I use most of the time, and that's my Apple TV. And that's how I cast my phone. And so I go into my phone, I switch to Apple TV, which we're going to do right now. Well, let's switch to it first. Make sure we're casting, and we are. And let's go up here to Filmic Pro, and make sure it's on. And then if I switch to that right now, it shows you a whole different screen. So not sure what's happening there right now. So we'll reboot this. So we're going to go out of screencast. And again, if you're going to use your phone as a camera, understand that you either have to tether it, which I could tether it, but I'm casting it right now to my Apple TV because I want to be mobile in the room tonight. So I'm going to stop mirroring. I'm going to go back into mirroring on my iPhone. And that Apple TV is called home theater because that's what this was. It was a man cave and a theater room. And so if I switch to this camera, then I can see if this is working right now, and it is. So I'll go back into Filmic Pro. And if I switch back to that view, there you go. So you have the mobile camera. So here is, and I'll put this on the gimbal here in a minute. I've got the gimbal right here, and it's ready to go, but it's kind of hard to use on the desk. So there's my A10 Mini Pro, and you can see I actually have it labeled. Label 1 is camera 3, which is this camera right here. That's my Canon 5D Mark III, and it's hanging from that pole up there, as well as my Elgato lights, and we'll look at all this in a bit, but that's camera 3. And that's my Canon 5D Mark III, and that times out after 29 minutes. So a lot of times I'll flip that on and back off again in the middle of my live streams when I'm not using it to get me 29 more minutes. So that goes into input number 1. Input number 2, I can switch between my bridge or my hyperdeck. And that's right there, the switch. That switch will go between program and iPhone, and that's this. Input number 4, right now I am using it under iPhone, but if I switch that over, by pushing that button once, it's going to switch to program, and then program would be coming in here to this live feed, and I'm not going to do that right now, but that would work. When I'm showing my PC, it goes in this channel, or I can do multi-view, and then that switch is not over here. Believe it or not, that switch, because of room, is right there. So I can choose between. You can see it says Pro Input 3. And I can switch between multi-view and PC. And right now you can see it's green on PC. And again, that is this switch right there. And then again, streaming bridge or my hyperdeck. And that's the HDMI input from my main hyperdeck. And that's my streaming bridge. And then we're going to look at the extreme now. And then the program comes out, still hooked up to the internet. But that program comes out right here. That is fed into this channel right here on my Extreme, and that stands for A10 Mini Pro. So 3 is a dedicated input that comes from that A10 Mini Pro. So that is slide 1. Let's go over to slide number 2. Yeah, I know it's hard when I move away from Mike. I apologize. I will do better. So back to my PC, we'll come back to the iPhone here in a minute. Set that down on my desk. So now I have the Extreme, and you can see that that ATEM comes in right here. Got to turn writing on again. Switch back to the right slide. And let's make sure that's lit up. Pin. So this is that input right there that comes in from my A10 Mini Pro. So that is coming in from this baby right there. And I'd like to replace that with an Extreme ISO, and I'll explain later why I'm going to do that. So then you have input number 1, which is camera 1, and that is EOS R, which is going to be on our podcast desk tonight. So I'll show you that picture real quick here. There you go. So that is camera 1, and then I'm on camera 2, which is right here, and that is this camera right here. Camera 1 is an EOS R by Canon, and it's a mirrorless camera. And then this is a DSLR, which means it has a mirror. And the difference is you look through a mirror on a DSLR. On an EOS R mirrorless camera, you just look at the monitor on the back. And some of them, I think you can buy an eyepiece. It's like an LED eyepiece, but that's only on some cameras. that are out there. Not all of them have that ability to put an eyepiece on them. So that is input number 2, and we're going to look at those here real quick. So back to this. So there is my main camera, my confidence monitor above it, and we'll talk about the monitors here in a minute. That's the Canon 5D Mark IV, and it's on a Manfrotto stand right there behind my Rodecaster Pro, hooked to my desk. And then if we rotate over here slowly so you guys don't get dizzy, here is the EOS R. And again, it does have an LCD screen. It times out, so it's off right now. It has a confidence monitor, and that is showing you the same thing as all of my monitors are showing you. And again, that is input 1 is the EOS R, input 2 is the Canon 5D Mark IV. I think I said that right. That is a Mark IV. And then that one, which is in the A10 Mini Pro, is a Mark III. This camera does not time out after time, and I do have a dummy battery in them, so they plug into the wall. Try to keep this microphone better centered. So then, 1 is the EOS R, 2 is the Canon 5D Mark IV, 3 is from the A10 Mini Pro. Then this is my desktop, and that is for my laptop to come in the screen. And if we look at multi-view right now, there is camera 1, which is the EOS R, camera 2, that is the A10 Mini Pro that's bringing in my screencast from my mobile iPhone. That goes into my Apple TV in my A10 Mini Pro. Again, that's this channel right there is lit up, and my Apple TV is hanging right down there somewhere. It fell down earlier. It's right there. It's my Apple TV underneath my desk. Sorry about the low volume again. That's the Apple TV hiding under my desk. So again, back to the slide. We'll continue going here. So the next thing I have here is to be able to bring my laptop. That's the desktop input that I showed you. And that can be my laptop or my PC. And that is going to switch right here. So there's the switch to switch between my laptop and my PC. And you can see right now it is set for my laptop. So that's the first, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4 of my A10 Mini Pro. That's the first 4 in my Extreme. We have 4 more inputs left to go. And again, in input number 4, I can bring in my laptop or my PC. Now, why would I do that when I already have my PC coming into my A10 Mini Pro? And that's so if I ever want to have both, like the software, control software open on one desktop and then be able to be screencasting on my other desktop or showing my Wacom Pro actually on my other desktop, then I can bring them both in to SuperSource at the same time. And that's why I installed that switch between my laptop and my PC, because most people would probably just have their PC come in there or their laptop come in there, and then over in the A10 Mini Pro, they would have their PC come in. But I wanted to be able to actually add my laptop with my PC and vice versa. I can have my PC in my Extreme as well because of that switch. So if you count up these switches, just that you see on the surface of my desk, you have those 2 switches, right? So multi-view and PC into my A10 Mini Pro, and then laptop or PC in my Extreme input number 4. And then over here, you have those 2 switches, and Streaming Bridge is right there, and iPhone or my program view right there, and Streaming Bridge or HyperDeck 2 is over there. And again, that's my HyperDeck that is right here on my desk. So let's talk about these last 2 inputs. And they're the easiest, but at some point, for some people, maybe the most complicated, because I have 2 HyperDecks. There's HyperDeck 1, that's the mini. I have a whole series here on my channel, check that out. HyperDeck number 2, I also have, that's the HD Plus. That's the ones they updated in the middle of this summer and made some great improvements. There's still some things I'd love to have them fix, and especially about the codecs and all of that. But overall, I love the features on that HyperDeck, and I have an HD Plus series here on my channel as well, doing really well. But I also have the mini one, and in the mini one, I actually did some alpha graphic training. So if you're wondering how to make graphics for a HyperDeck, it's the same way that you'll find in my ATEM mini series. And again, the mini's been around for over 10 years. Blackmagic Design has been using that. People have been using that to record ISO tracks and to play back graphics and videos for years, and it's a great tool. But I love some of the new features that you find in the HD Plus. And so that's those two devices, and they both have a what they call a key channel or a fill channel, and then a key channel. And the fill channel would be just like the graphic you would put on the screen or the video. So if you're going to play a video back, you would just play it through the fill channel. But if you're going to play an animated transparent graphic, you want to use a key. And what a key does, it cuts out the background behind it. And I think I have a graphic here that I can demo this with on one of these HyperDecks. There we go. So if I cut right now and show you guys input number 2 on my, or actually, let's see, that's going to be input number, this input right here on my HyperDeck Mini is the key channel, and the key channel for my HyperDeck HD Plus is that channel. So you need two. One is just for key, and then the other one is for fill. There's 5 and 7. 5 is the fill from my HyperDeck Mini, and 7 is the fill from my HyperDeck HD Plus, and then the key for the HyperDeck Mini is 6, and the key for the HyperDeck HD Plus is 8. And again, that is for playing these graphics. So I can show you right now what this looks like if you just want to see what a fill channel looks like. Here you go. Just looks like my logo, right? And I also have my subscribe playing, so you can see that a graphic animated. So again, I'll turn off my main graphic for my live stream tonight, so you guys can only see that. And so there's the subscribe button playing. But if I want to show you what the fill looks like, that's what the fill looks like. The fill literally is a cutout background so that the transparency can play correctly. So I know that's crazy, but that's exactly what a key does. It keys out the background. It's for complicated transparencies. It's similar to what we think about keying out the green when you want to put something else behind you when you're doing green screen. But that's for like green or blue, more simple keying. When you got to do complicated keying, it needs these, what we call alpha channels or key channels. And what that does is that helps you cut out the background. And so for like a stinger or for like a transparent flying in graphic that's got great transparency, that cutout is going to fly in behind it. And so as that transparency crosses over like a striped shirt, or the things that are behind me, they don't show through. Just the transparency, whatever you wanted them to see in the graphic would show through because it's cut out the background and it travels with that animated graphic. If you're just doing still graphics and they don't have any transparency, you can just use the media pool. And what's the media pool? Well, the media pool is what you can normally see on your desktop. So let me pull that up here real quickly and show you guys. Get a mouse working here. And then if I cut back to this, so the media pool is this right here. So I have, because I have an extreme ISO, it's the same with the extreme. I have 2 media players, so what's over here can go live. This is just storage. So this is how many slots I have to use for both of these media players. If you have an ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini or ATEM Mini Pro ISO, you only have one of these media players. And again, if I had this set up differently, I could draw on the screen, but I'm not. I'm using PowerPoint right now. So back to the other look. There we go. Sorry. I tapped it twice. So that's the extreme. That's the ATEM. That's how they're set up. And so let me go through and show you again the HyperDeck. So we'll cut to this. So there's the 2 HyperDecks, And you can see that I have this subscribe logo playing. If I hit play right now, it's going to animate. We'll go back, hit play. If I hit the button again, it will just continue playing. So I have it rotate through, show you to like and ring the bell, and then a few minutes later, or a few seconds later, it's going to roll again. And so I could bring that on the screen by using one of my keys from the HybridDeck. And then this deck is where is my HybridDeck HD Plus, and this is where I normally play like the videos. So that's one of my videos, and I won't play that because it'll go live and play on the air. So a lot of videos I play in HybridDeck HD Plus, and a lot of graphics I play in my HybridDeck Mini. So again, those come into fill for HybridDeck Mini, key for HybridDeck Mini, fill for my HybridDeck HD Plus, which is the one on the right, and then the key channel. So that's all of my channels. One of them dedicated to the Pro, and the rest of these have inputs coming in, and only one of those channels is designed to switch, which means that I could simply switch something by pushing a button and have something else come in. So let's take a break real quick, and let's see if there's any questions in the chat. So let me move this over. So if you have any questions, now would be a great time, and there's a little bit of delay. So I'm going to wait here just a minute. And we're going to go on to the next slide. And it should be really short here because it's switches, and then we're going to actually take you around and show you some stuff in the studio away from my desk. So I'm going to wait just for another second or so for any questions. Any questions there, Chris? And I apologize, when I moved away from the microphone, it's a little hard to hear me. I do have a lapel mic on. It does pick up a lot of background noise, so I am going to use it when I get up. And there'll probably be a slight delay when I'm using my mobile camera, but mostly I won't be on the screen when I do get up and take you on a tour in the studio. So any questions at all that you have right now on the studio tour? We are, what it looks like, 40 minutes in? So we want to get on to the next slide when you guys are ready. But if you have any questions so far, I'm going to refresh my screen here. Make sure I haven't missed any questions. So Freddie's asking, when you play a video from the HybridDeck, which button would you push? Because again, I have the fill channel coming in on my HybridDeck Mini in channel 5, and then I have the key channel in 6, and in the HybridDeck HD Plus, I have my fill channel coming into 7 and my key channel coming into 8. And to answer your question, Freddie, you always use your first channel. That's also the one that you're going to put in the software. So I will show you guys that here real quick, because that's pretty important. So let's go into the software here. Love that I have these macros tonight. So it's not going to be my face cam. It's going to be my desktop. So right on the bottom here, you have this little scrolly wheel system setting in your control software. And again, this is the software you download if you're going to run an ATEM, ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro, Pro ISO, Extreme, Extreme ISO, and all of the other consoles. You would use this software. Down the bottom, you have this little choice here. And then you have General tab, Audio tab, Multi-View, Labels, and HybridDeck. And under HybridDeck, you're going to actually tell it which channel you have the fill plugged into. So I have my HybridDeck 1, which is my Mini. I have it marked right here, HD input number 5. And that, again, is your fill channel, right? And then down the lower deck, which is my HD Plus, I have it set for my HybridDeck input, or my ATEM Extreme input number 7. So to answer your question, Freddie, for the Mini, I would press 5, and for the HybridDeck HD Plus, I would press 7 if I'm making a macro. That's also the input that I'm going to program. So when I do my intro, I start with the still image on the screen, set a macro setup so that plays for a couple seconds, and then I do a transition to my channel 7, which is my fill for my HyperDeck. I queue up my intro video, and then I record that macro, stop record, and now when I push that macro button for my intro video, it's going to start with a still image on the screen, and then after a couple frames, seconds, it's going to switch to my intro video. I've queued up my intro video in my HyperDeck. It's designed to auto play, and you can see right up here, I have auto roll right here, and I have auto roll right here. So both my HyperDecks will automatically roll when you cut to them. They won't roll until you do, but if you have them assigned to a key, like a downstream key or an upstream key, every time you turn that key on, because it's assigned to the HyperDeck fill, it's gonna roll. So keep that in mind. It drives me crazy when I'm programming macros because I gotta go over there and turn it back off and then continue recording my macro. And if I forget, it will play that HyperDeck in the background. So again, I have it set to audio follows video. I'll show you how you guys do that. So right down here, you have all of your input channels. So this is my main mic right here. But if I want you to hear what's in my HyperDecks, then I have to go down here to the fill channel. And we know, right? I don't know why I have camera 1 on audio follows video. So audio follows video is on my input number 7, and it's actually, I relabeled it, and I'm calling it fill 2, because I have HyperDeck 1, HyperDeck 2, so I have it labeled fill 1, key 2, key 1, fill 2, key 2. It's hard to remember. So once you get acquainted to that, you know when you're programming your macros that that's what you're going to switch. Now, it doesn't show up on the front of the ATEM, but it does show up in my control software, and you can see that right here. So instead of it saying camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4, it now says fill 1 for channel 5, key 1 for channel 6, fill 2 for channel 7, and it says fill or key 2 for channel 8. And that's something that I use all the time, so I understand it. You can label those any way you want, and the way you label them, you go down under the systems menu again, and then you go up here to labels, and here's where I labeled those. So you can see that I've labeled them right here and right here. 5, 6, 7, and 8 are changed right here, and then you would hit save, and it would remember that. So this is also where you hook up your HyperDecks. Under the HyperDeck here, you gotta have your IP address in here, and then you gotta make sure it's green. And if you do not have remote turned on in your HyperDecks inside the HyperDeck software, they will not auto roll. So keep that in mind. There is a switch on the front of the new HyperDecks, but the old HyperDecks, you got to go into the menu and turn it on and off inside the HyperDeck menu. Okay, so that is all the inputs, and that's Freddie's answer. You would choose 5 if you wanted to run a HyperDeck Mini like I do in channel 5 and 6, and you would push 7 in your ATEM, Freddie, if you wanted to roll your HyperDeck HD Plus if it was set up like I'm set up. So I hope that answers your question. So let's see if there's any other questions here. Go back into my stream. I need to bring that back over here. What? Hey, thank you, Freddie. I've got Christopher monitoring the chat, which is great. So, okay, we're going to switch slides. So let's go back to this view and switch slides. So now I could go up onto my PC and switch, or I could tap on the screen. I'm just going to switch over. So here's the studio sound, and I want to give you guys a real quick tour of this. But first, let's just look at this slide. So I have little sound icons like this right here. So you know what has sound. So my Samsung big monitor behind me plays Bluetooth into my Rodecaster Pro. This is my Rodecaster Pro. It has a Bluetooth channel, and that's great. I could send my phone to it if I wanted to bring in a caller or play a song from my phone, or just the audio from a video. If I had a video, I just wanted to play the audio, I could do that. So that's cool. My laptop has sound, obviously, and my PC can send sound, and I use the same way. If I want my PC to be inside my live show, I would bring it in through the Bluetooth channel on my Rodecaster Pro. And again, that's this channel right here. It is the second to the last right there. And you can tell when it's on, and I'll show you guys that here in a minute in my studio. So that has audio. Then I have my subwoofer, my right and left speakers. And if I want to bring that audio in, I switch by this HOSA switch. So you guys can see it right here. I'll draw an arrow so you know where I'm at. And that has 3 inputs coming out, and my Rodecaster Pro right and left 1/4 inch channel out goes into it. And then 1 channel goes over here, channel 3. So if I have it on the 3rd slot, it would come to my Extreme. And if I have it set to the 2nd input, it goes right here. And that is a converter, and that converts my Canon EOS 4 from HDMI out to SDI, and that comes into my HyperDeck. So if I want to bring in video directly from a camera into my old Extreme, or my old HyperDeck Mini, then I have to be able to get that in there, and I have to have a converter. And the reason it's a 6G converter, and they're more expensive than a 3G, is because when I want to use my EOS R, it will do 4K out of the HDMI out, and 3G is not 4K, it's 1080p. If you want 4K, you have to have a 6G signal, and I can send out 30 frames per second, really clean video out of my EOS R, and so I have that little converter so that I could do that. So let's say I wanted to do a live show but also be recording at 4K. I could do that in my camera, but even a better signal with less compression comes out of my EOS R. So in a podcast, I could bring that directly into my HyperDeck Mini, and I could hit record, and I could record that. Obviously, I can't play videos at the same time, so I would use my HyperDeck to record my Mini, and I would be using my 2nd HyperDeck HD Plus to play my intro and outro videos, and that's another reason why I kept them both when I updated, because it gives me that option to record in one and then to be playing back in the other deck. And you could have more than one HyperDeck if you wanted to, but that's one way to get that clean 4K signal from my EOS R into a recording and then use it later. I could use that to replace the 1080p version that I recorded in my Extreme ISO. Okay, so let's grab the eraser here. Clean some of this up. And so again, I have audio able to come in from all these areas. Even when I have 4 things set up on my BenQ, the top right one, which I have my HyperDeck HD Plus come in, that gives me audio. So when you have 4 things on that BenQ, and so you guys can see my BenQ monitor. There's my BenQ monitor. This is my HyperDeck HD Plus, and if I was to hit play on that in the intro, or just hit play right now, turn the speakers up, this little dial right here, you can hear the audio playing because it only plays what's in that top left quadrant when I have 4 things set up. I could also switch that to one display. So there's my PC right there with my slides from my PowerPoint. That's my laptop right there. There's my multi-view coming into my Extreme, and that's my HyperDeck HD Plus. And I have a switch on my desk if I want to display in that quadrant right there my HyperDeck Mini. I'll just push this button, and it's going to change to my subscribe, which is only in my HyperDeck Mini right down there. So if I want that on the screen, I have to hit this switch right here, and it's going to come back up. And so I can put those 2 different things up there on that monitor because I may want to queue and check out something on my HyperDeck Mini, and I may want to queue on a big screen what's on my HyperDeck HD Plus, and that gives me the ability to do that. So again, in my studio, my left speaker, which is a studio speaker, my right speaker, and right there is my subwoofer. And guess who that is? There's my son, Christopher, in the background. And then there is my Rodecaster Pro. There's that Bluetooth. Oh, don't want to record. I don't know how that happened. I pushed the button. Stop. That's my Bluetooth channel right there, and it's turned down. I'm in channel 1 right now. I have my podcast mics ready on 2 and 3, and channel 4 is a wireless mic I have on, but I'm not using it yet. But you can see that it's flashing right there. And that will do 2 wireless microphones, so I can put one on my son as well. And then there is my HOSA, and you can see I'm on channel 3 right now. If I turn it over to channel 1, that's going to play in these JBL speakers and also my subwoofer. And so if I switch it over to channel 2, that is going to go back behind my desk into that 6G converter. And it has 2 right and left inputs, stereo inputs that come into it. And then you flip the little dip switches. And there's a video here on my channel about that device. And then you can bring that audio in directly. Because if I don't want to use a microphone in the camera, and I want to put a microphone on top, if I want to use this microphone right here, coming through my Rodecaster Pro channel 1, which is live right there. You can see it going up and down, coming out stereo. If I want that stereo signal to come into that video inside my HyperDeck recording, I have to have a way to feed audio in. And that's why I use the HOSA channel 2 coming out 2/4-inch jacks into that converter, and from that converter into my HyperDeck. And you can see that converter again on that slide that I showed you guys earlier that had that 6G converter on it. And all these slides will be available. All you have to do is have my email. If you don't have my email, go to my website, Life Journey Production Studios. I'll put a link below the description tonight, and then you guys can go and take a look at those slides. I'll make those slides available in a Google Drive folder, and you can download each one of these slides and look them over yourself. I just have to have your email, and you need to request them either directly to me, email if you already have it, like Freddie has my email, so does Tony. So you can directly email me, or you can go to my site. If you don't have my email, reach out to me, and I'll be happy to reach out to you and give you access to those slides so you can look at all these slides. So again, my BenQ has audio ability. I could even play audio if I wanted to through my monitor, my Confidence monitor that's right up here above my camera. I'm not using that right now, but it does have speakers. But audio is routed through these speakers, and it's pretty important. This is the monitor view. Let's go back to the other slide. And so here you have audio that can go to my Samsung Big TV, which is behind me on the wall. I can go to my monitor right here. Got to make sure you activate your pen when you're trying to draw on the screen, which is a lesson I've had to learn the hard way. So I can also send Bluetooth audio to my Bose speakers, which you'll see here in a second. We're going to walk around the studio. I have headphones. I can get audio from either my Extreme or from my Rodecaster Pro. So if I want to make sure there's audio for the live stream, I can pick up these headphones right here, and I can use those to hear what's coming into my Extreme. Or I can grab these headphones right here if I just want to monitor what's coming in from my Rodecaster Pro. And then again, if I want the room speakers on, then I can get audio through all of these speakers, but I don't want those on when I'm live. So right now I'm talking, but I can't hear myself back. I just have audio signals up on the screen, and I'll show you what those look like. So up on that monitor, you can see the audio going back and forth, and up right here under program, you can see the audio going up. And then I can also click down here and check the audio and make sure that I have good audio right here in the control software. And that's the main audio going through mic 1 and then out to you guys right there. And that's a way to monitor audio. And it's kind of hard to do all of this and be live at the same time for obvious reasons. But We're going to hook this up now to the mobile gimbal. And that's this one right now, version 1 from DJI. I've had it for a long time. I rarely use it. And all you do is take this gimbal, slide your phone into it, tighten it down right here. Let's switch cameras. Tighten it down right here. Turn it on. Switches right here on the side. And I have a gimbal. So now watch what happens when I switch to this. Now when I move around, it's very stable. And I have a little thumb switch on here that I can aim up and down. And so let's do a real quick studio tour, and let me turn on my lapel mic here. So where are you? Should be on. Let's try this. Check. Testing 1, 2, check. Testing 1, 2. I will attempt to talk softer, guys. Then I've got my iPad all hooked up with Mix Effects. These are all my macro buttons. There's the YouTube channel going on right now, my Asus ZenBook Pro. I have that mouse hooked up to my PC all the time. This mouse is hooked up to, or actually my laptop. This is my PC all the time. And this new Logi mouse, I can take mobile and I can switch on the buttons right here. PC, laptop, and the last would hook up to my iPad. And then the same thing with my keyboard. My keyboard, let me do a down angle here. I can go right here and choose my PC and it lights up. Right here, I can choose my laptop, it switches over, and right here is my iPad, and if it flashes, it's not hooked up, but it's hooked up to my iPad. So this could be my keyboard. Actually, it's not working. You can see the light went out. So that's for my PC, and that's for my laptop. And so that's a great tool. And then this is my PC, and that's my subwoofer right here. And I've had these since my recording studio. And again, that's my son, Christopher. And he's one of the reasons why we built the recording studio, and he'll be on audio here in a little bit. So again, I have my face cam over my shoulder. This is my shelves. I have all my stuff up here. There's Boba Fett, Millennial Falcon I brought home from my trip recently. Some of my Batmobiles, my other Batmobiles right here. Batman and Robin. Got a little drum set and guitar that you put together, those little metal things, and then that one right there that we did as well. My duck that I've had around forever. My Pez with, who is that? Mandalorian, thank you. And then Batman, just because I can, and then the Lego Batman I put together. And then my son brought this back from Petra for me, actually as a souvenir when he was in the military overseas. And then my robot, my Indiana Jones, my son bought for me years ago. This guy right here bought me that, and that's Indiana Jones up there. And then I've got my Voltec bobblehead, and then some dice. And again, my Bose speakers from the back. Here's one of my MC lights I'm using tonight to light this up. And I have more of those. There's my key light for my main light. And there is my key light for my secondary light. And again, here's a look at that side of the desk and then the TV over there. And now we'll do a tour of the studio. So when I come in, it's through this door, hallway to my house. The chairs we're going to use here shortly. The fan, when we get too hot, is right there. This is my case that's left in my studio right here. And it has my Xbox in it. It's got 2 drawers, and then up there is the receiver for my TV, and above that is my dish right there. And that used to have mastering equipment in it. And I actually have 2 of those. You'll see one of those that I don't use anymore in my garage tour. My Bose, my big Samsung TV, the only sound panel I have left in my studio. because I don't like the way they look on the wall. And then back here is my little light stand, or my little stand where I put all these MC lights on it. So I've got my Xbox games down there, then my plant, an MC light there with a softbox. I have an MC light there, right there, because it's magnet operated, shining down on the hide and seek champion of the world. Then I have my new books I bought, plus the series. And then this was a gift given to me by someone who's in the chat tonight. And thank you very much again, Tony, from Quick Tech Solutions. We traded some stuff, so I got that. I got the better deal. And then I don't have them on right now, but here are my 50 RSs, great video maker. And they're hanging on a Manfrotto pole, which is right there. I got one over there with a Manfrotto super clamp, close up, and then that tightens down right there. And that is just right up above my other shelves. Again, you can see the Manfrotto super clamp, and there's another super clamp right there holding that up. Then that's actually one of the desk stands for my key lights from Elgato, and I'm using it right now. I can put one of my cameras up there. If I wanted to take my DJ action, I can shoot the live stream. And then behind me, I have my two soft boxes. Those are nice photo soft boxes with my Godox UL 150s, and they are mounted to the ceiling. And the power supplies hang right there. They are remote controllable, and they plug in right behind this panel because I designed this room to have a JBL speaker here and a JBL speaker right here. And so I have power up high, so I can use those to power lights from the ceiling. So both lights come over and power in right there. We'll leave this panel off for now. No, I shut everything off, and I'll show you that. I have these switches. I've talked about these before. They hang right here on this clamp. So I hang this whole rack right there. There's my headphones hanging they're old headphones from my studio, so they're beginning to lose the outside layer, but they're great. M50s by Audio-Technica, awesome. And then all of these switches I use to shut things off. It gets very hot in here. So the only thing I leave on is my PC occasionally, but everything else gets shut off. And then I told you guys I have my lighting on. So this will run Philips Hue lights. I'm not using them right now. And this is just a regular dimmable switch. So they will shut off this track lights, which is what I use to get good light during the day when I'm working in here. Or if I have a guest come in that I'm gonna just sit and talk for business, and I can turn those off, and that's what you guys normally see for a live stream. These lights are off, but I turned those on tonight. And then I have, this is a Samsung QLED, and it gives you the ability to do like a picture frame. So I have that set up in picture frame mode, and one of them that you can do is a calendar and the date. So you can see what today's date is right there, February 6th, 2022. So further back, there's both of my soft boxes. So if you are at this podcast desk, you're going to be looking at this. So this is where we sit. You're going to see us here shortly. And that camera right there is the one I use for my podcast. And then both of these lights can turn on from a switch. And that switch is right here. So we'll grab it and we'll turn it on. And you can see these come on. There they are. And I've preset it. So they are set to 65% brightness. I don't know if that's focusing or not. Kind of hard with the lights, the camera. So I can set the Kelvin temperature is set. These are daylight balanced. So if I hit it again and hit this top button, it flashes A. And so this is A light, and that is B light. And so I can change the brightness of A right now. Oops, no, I'm changing. So that's A, you hit set, then I can bring it down from 65% down to 49%, and then I can hit that button again, go up to the top, switch over one shot, one button. It's now on B light, hit enter, and I can bring it down to 50%, and that's lowering that light right behind the switch to 50%. And if I want them off, I hit the button. This light right here is a Philips light, and they're wireless, and so are the LED lights that go across my desk. And then those ones on the floor, I can wrap around a plant in this corner when I have it on a table right here. But right now we don't have it in here. We have my shoes, and my son is sitting on my other chair right here. So then I have a snake for my audio that goes into my Rodecaster Pro. So I have two channels, channel 2 and 3 hooked up, and I can also get headphones. So that goes back all the way around the floor, behind my desk, and that comes right into the back of my Rodecaster Pro right here. So this is one of the channels from the snake. This is my SM7B, so it's not in the snake. So that's one of the snake channels. That's another snake channel, and there's a bunch more right here. These two are the two headphone inputs coming into my headphone inputs, and the Rodecaster Pro has 1, 2, 3, 4 headphone inputs, and you can plug in the channel 1 right here, or you can plug in the channel 1 back here. And so then this is your right and left out. Power supply, USB cord coming into my laptop. And again, so 4 inputs, then you have 4 headphone outputs, and then you have right and left channel in and out for audio, and then you have power, and it's a locking power supply and USB. So that's kind of how that works. And then there's the deity, and then there's the HOSA, and there's, like I said, we shoot straight down at this, there's 3 settings. So 1 input in and 3 inputs out. There's where I have my headphones for my Rodecaster Pro. And again, there is my JBL speaker. There's my switches. Here's my other switches. And the one switch we haven't talked about is this one right here. And that lets me go in from my camera directly into one of the HyperDecks. And right now I'm not. I'm going directly into the ATEM. But if I want to go directly into the HyperDeck, all I got to do is push that button. So switches there, and switches right there. So rest of the tour, little table by my computer monitor so that I can keep water. I have these ices on there right now. These are batteries for the gimbal. That's the control for the Panasonic Samsung TV on the wall. I just added a Samsung TV to my living room because my other one died. And then this is actually a Costco table. Almost got hit by my sound panel right here. I made these. So this fabric was bought just like canvas fabric. And then this is insulation instead of pink spray on it, which is itchy. This is actually like maple syrup type spray. So it's brown and it holds it together. And they get it right from tree sap. And it's brown instead of pink. And again, this is that rolling case that you can use for IT, and all my cables go right up there and up to my TV, and then behind my TV through the wall, and they come up over the wall, and they come right down behind Christopher right here, and right down there, get down, you have cable coming through the wall, and that's an HDMI cable, so I can get a signal to that TV if I wanted to, and that's hooked into a switch into my Apple TV right now. And then spray bottles for air to clean off the desk, and then my son's coffee cup. So again, I have more shelves back here. The 50 RSs are off, and then I actually have this window tinted so that the sun doesn't come in, so it tints it down about 40%. So now we can leave this curtain open if we want to when we're live streaming. And then I have 2 chairs in my office all the time so I can have a guest, and I can also sit here and play Xbox games and things like that. We have controllers right there on the desk. And then this is one of the pod mics. I've got 2 mics set up, ready to go for our podcast set. And there you go. And then again, this is a Costco table, and I built the top for it. So Costco table from the floor up, plastic bottom, but I made this wood top for it. And there's a video here on my channel. Never made something like this since shop class, but my wife and I built it. She stained it, and it's worked pretty good now for over 1.5 years. It gives me a nice tabletop. And so we may change that soon. And here's the other lapel microphone that my son can wear. If we weren't using this microphone right here, we can switch the receiver to this lapel mic. So, okay, so I think I've covered everything in this room. Track lighting, T's right there. And there's the other power supply for my other UL 150 hanging right there. Another one right here. The power cord hangs across chains right there. Those hooks right there and hangs right above my head, so hopefully that doesn't fall down. And I can turn these and adjust them, but that's as high up as I can get them to go. So this one right here, you have to watch your head when you're coming in my studio, because this is my eye height as I come in my studio. So you got to duck if you want to do that. So anyway, then there's a look at the back side of the table and carpeted room, so the sound's pretty good. And then there's a shot of that side of the studio. And I'll just kind of do a pan here in the studio from the desk here. Christopher, chair set, TV. Pretty tight in here. And my desk, with me holding the camera. So, again, the pan of the studio. Trying to go as slow as I can. Aim down a little bit. This gimbal is nice. It does help stabilize the video, but I can't go far out of the room because of it. So there's my station. This is where I spend my days, working both with clients and getting stuff ready for a live stream. Again, a better shot of my storage up there and the bar that hangs across. I just purchased that at Home Depot. This helps keep it from twisting. That's my crazy way of stopping it from twisting, because it's just screwed in right there. And I've got my tripod. That's for my shotgun microphone. That's a Rode blimp. And you'll see in my video for the garage, the blimp cover for the dead cat. And again, my cases. Again, this is all reinforced to hold all of this stuff. And I have a bunch more stuff in the garage. So now what we're going to do is we're going to play a video of my garage, because I have a bunch of other cool stuff out there. And Christopher and I'll get a chance to catch a break. When we get back, we're going to be in the podcast set, so you guys can see how that works. Then we have one little video we were going to show you of the old studio in the bedroom, so you guys can see that. But hopefully we hit most of everything in here. If you have any questions why the video in the garage is playing that you want me to answer, we'll be able to look at that chat. This video is not short. It's about 19, 20 minutes long, but it'll take you through my case outside, show you where Ratso resides in his case, show you the paper I can pull down, show you a lot of the other tools that I have to do video production, photography in the garage. And where there isn't a good close-up look of certain things, I do have pictures that will come up in the video spent quite a bit of time making sure that this video was very thorough so you guys can see it. So we are going to roll that video right now, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. And it is called The Garage Tour, and here we go. Okay, so here we are in the garage, and I've done my best to clean it up. There's my little pile of dirt I haven't picked up yet, and the broom. This is the old rack that I had in my studio that had all my gear in it for mastering. I've sold that to trade it up for live streaming gear. And then I got all kinds of rack on there. That's Ratzo's case. He is inside there with Grandpa Jones. And then this is kind of my workbench. And I have a computer out here with 2 monitors, so I can be doing YouTube research and stuff when I'm out here and listening to it. Then I've got, these are my tool cases. I have a base there and then 2 subs. And then over in that corner, I have the Bose portable system. I think it's called, I can't remember what it is. It's the original version, and it sounds amazing. And then there's my pull down papers. So I got green screen in the back, then black, then white, and then I have gray back here in the corner. Here's my storage. This is my portable Manfrotto Kit. I'll show you that here in a little bit. This is a big reflector. Also, you can use it for a blackout, cut, so I can cut light. I also have a shear that can hook onto that, and that's in the case. I'll show you that. And then I've got all kinds of gear in here. So stuff from my great video maker lights and paper holders, filter holders, softbox grids, and that goes all the way down. This is a road kit. This is a road kit. So inside here I have all kinds of cables and different things. Inside here I have my reflectors for my lights that are inside this case. And then here I have this whole storage compartment. And on the bottom I have a bunch of Westcott softbox accessories down there. They work with my Canon flashes. This is my gig bag with all my supplies. There's more stuff that goes in there. It's in my studio. That's one of my photo deox LED lights and my dead cat for my road blimp. But that's the power supply, and then the light is right there. And it's a single bulb LED light. And then I have some boom poles down there, some more of that Westcott stuff. And then here's all my soft boxes. Some of these fit on my Einstein lights, and they are flashes plus like beauty lights for shooting photography. And then in the back there I have my soft boxes that fit both my Godox UL 150s as well as my photo deox lights. And then up here I have some stands. There's more of these in the back of my SUV, which is outside right now. A little bit of makeup kit, light bulbs and pliers, and then these are bulbs for my my Einstein lights. And then these are the different attachments for that big scrim. So there is a reflector in there, gold and silver. Then there's one that's just black and then white on the other side. And then there's one that is like a 2-stop filter so I can cut sunlight. And that gets pretty big. It's 4x8 when it's all folded out. So we'll pull the papers down so you can see that, and I'll be right back. Okay, up close look at my papers. And they are hanging on this bracket. You can see it here. And there are 3 of them. I wrap this up when I'm not using it. So pull these down. This does tangle up pretty easy. So you got to straighten those out. I will do that, and then we will be right back. But there is an up close look of that rack. Okay, here it is. Here it is with it mostly straightened out. And so now you can just pull these down. We'll bring green down. And then I have this, which snaps on the bottom of the paper, and that lets me have some weight. So I used green screen the time I was in here. I only have one of those, so I can interchange papers. So this just rolls down, and my case is in the way. There we go. And so now you can see it with the green screen down. Okay, now we'll roll down the black, and it rolls down quite a bit differently when you don't have the weight on the bottom. But here comes down the black. And you can see we've had it all the way down. I got some footprints on it, but you can pretty much wipe that off. But this paper is kind of tear off and throw away when it gets all cut up like that. And then again, as you roll them down, they have a tendency to kink. And this is actually, I believe, the Manfrotto Kit. And it comes with 3 of those. But so we'll pull the white down now. And my white is almost out because I've done a number of key light shoots for my wife's natural pain relief for labor manual. So we even have footprints all the way up there. So I need to replace the white. But here's what the room looks like. And then I installed this track light just to give me some extra light in here. But I set up my Manfrotto lights, but these are big lights, LEDs. They're designed to last a long time. So I love the light in here. I have the regular bulb up there, but you can see I'm not even using that right now. So, and it's dusty, but this is probably my highest end camera tripod and stand. So we'll open this up. And inside here, this baby. And you can see it's a FSB6 head. Stackable, made in Germany. This is a very, very, very high-end tripod. I'll set it up and show it to you guys. So there you go. So you can hang a sandbag from here. You can adjust how wide it is with these adjustments. You actually have a ball head. So these are not great for sliders. You want to get one without a ball head for sliders, but I can then turn that on and level it from that ball. And so you can see that even if you're setting up in a dark studio. And this is a quite good liquid head. So you got the adjustment right here, 1 through 10. Move it around this side, you have an adjustment on the yoke, 1 through 10. And then you also have tighten downs here, and tighten downs here. And then you got 2 ways to secure the plate, and it's just a regular Manfrotto plate on the top. But there's a close look at that. And it's quite a nice floating head. And when you get a big camera on there. So this is designed for bigger cameras. I use this when I was using my Panasonic HM150, which is the 720p digital camera, actually a camcorder. I don't have it anymore, but I will use this if I put a big rig on it or if I bought a bigger Blackmagic camera. Also, I'm using the Double Take app, and so I can actually do this picture-in-picture mode, or I can go back to a regular camera on both sides, so it's always shooting me and it's always shooting the other side, which is great. And if I want to have them separate tracks, I can. Or if I want to put them together like this, I can also change to a wide camera. So let me show you that. So here is wide with the selfie camera on me. And here is ultra wide. I'm using a iPhone 13 Pro, and it has 3 cameras, so you have 3 different shots on the other side. So you can go ultra wide like now, you can go wide or telephoto, and then have the selfie camera. Or you can not use the selfie camera. You could have 2 versions of the other look. So here's ultra wide in the corner and telephoto. So There's a close-up of everything in the studio right there. So you have ultra-wide and telephoto. Okay, we'll open up this interfit tool, which I love. The zipper's right here. So we'll unzip this. It only goes down to there. And then you pull this out. So we'll get it out of here. I apologize for the bad audio, but I wanted you guys to see this, so I've disconnected my Rode mic. But this literally just folds out. It's a little tweaked right now, but there we go. And you simply tighten this thing down, and you can change these. They're Velcroed on. This is obviously the reflector, and then this is a white reflector, and this is usually how I have it stocked up. And then those other pieces, I have a black one, and then I have a sheer for a couple stops of light, so you can use it to block out the sun. And again, this is 4x8, and I wish I had 2 of these. And a little tricky, but it's ready to go back in the case. Got some more miscellaneous stuff back here, some backpacks. That's a Lowepro Backpack, which is great for my gear. I've got another backpack here. I have one that straps on I really like. Get in here, I'll show you that. This is a great piece of kit. You can put a different size lenses in here. Here's the strap, and this is what I'll take if I go like on a cruise or go photo shooting, and it actually expands right here. So if I unzip this for like my 70 to 200 lens, so I can put my camera, my lens on there, slide it in there, put my harness on, and it's ready to go. It even has this protector for the back LED screen, so it's great. Like I said, once you have this strap around your chest, it's an amazing kit. So it'll just hook on like this, and I can flip this open, pull my camera out. It's basically a holster, and I don't know if you've ever seen those before. And again, this is by Think Tank, so check them out. Really cool stuff. I absolutely love this rolling case. So it has wheels on it. When I get it out here, you can see the wheels down there. So you can roll this out. It's quite heavy. You can see the Manfrotto logo there. Then inside here, I've got some pulls for papers if I want to do like a remote setup. And then you have these zippers, and then I have my cables in these pockets, and then I have this stackable Manfrotto light stands. I absolutely love them. They click together, so let's pull those out. So they actually snap together. So I can pull them apart by pushing this button, and they just set down on the next one down there in a little groove, and then they snap together right here, and then they all hold together, which is great for storage. They're amazing. And then in here I have 2 of these LED 200 watt 56s. And then I have the other one right here in that plastic container that I take with me and throw in the back of my SUV when I need to go. And I have cords in here and adapters so that I can just hook everything up. Even have this for power. So I'll have 3 of these lights set up at a site. And then I have some barn doors, and then these are all, this is a barn door. I have 2 more in a box, and then I have all of these that slide in. I have a number of these, only a couple here in the case. So again, all of that goes with me. That's my mobile kit, and I can roll it right on the job site. Also right here, I have, these go on my new Godox UL150s. This is a sample of one of the reflectors with a set of barn doors on it for my photodiox lights. And then these go on to make these reflectors, which are larger, softer, so you can pop these right on the outside. And then also in here, I have 3 sandbags, and then that's my C-stand right here. And then I have sandbags on these when I use those. I only have 3 sandbags. I really need to get 2 more, because if I do a green screen job, sometimes I'll have 5, 6 lights up. So, and again, I have more stands that are inside my SUV, and so I keep them in there all the time, and I have a couple in the studio. Also back here, I have my cases for my MC lights. They're back here, and just miscellaneous stuff. I even have a kit back in here for wiring, and some of you that know some of this really cool technical stuff, you will recognize this device right here. This is a Fluke for networks. So I have one of these for testing networks. So even though I'm not an IT guy, I do have some tools because I have installed in houses that I've built and studios I've built. So that's there, and then I have this kit right here. And that's for crimping ends. And I even have the paperwork still, and so I can do cable ends and Cat 6, Cat 5 cable ends right here. Also out here in the garage, I have a remote control because this is actually a TV, and then I have a remote control for this. This is kind of cool. This is, sorry it's so dusty, but this is actually a tube Bluetooth stereo, and you can also wire directly to it. So I can turn this on, power that on. And there you see the tubes warming up. Again, it's pretty dusty out here, and I can Bluetooth my phone to that, or even my computer PC right here. I can Bluetooth that, and that becomes the speakers for out here on the bench. Microphone stands right there, even some headphone adapters just to hang headphones on there. And then I have a little portable table that I can bring in the studio. And again, I have this rack and another rack. This will probably be my portable setup. It already has a drawer when I get my portable live streaming setup. So I could even do a live stream in here, even though the sound, there's no panels. The sound is crazy. And then I have a couple panels left from my old recording studio up there. And they were the color code, and that was kind of red and gray and white. And so you can see 3 of those panels that I made back there. So I can pull all the way back and get all the cars out of here and shoot. This is an extra chair for a set in my studio. And There's 2 in the studio right now, and then that table goes in the studio. I have a plant that goes on that, and I wrap LED lights around it. We keep this covered. It's in the garage. Then there's all my Batman stuff still in the boxes that I showed on my post show last week. And then some miscellaneous here. And then behind here, there's even some tubs back there that have some miscellaneous cables and stuff in it if I need them. And then the last couple things back here, here's those, there's the 2 of these. Those are the speakers, the Bose. That's some extra flooring left over. My great Video Maker 50RS case, which is empty right now. This is a flash case. Inside it, I have a bunch of adapters if I want to go do a photo shoot. And then you can shape these. And so that's for bouncing flash. And again, like I said, I have different sizes of those in here. They're just all stuck together right now. And then I can put a silver one on here. So it's really cool. Again, this is a kit I bought, and it is a kit by Rogue. And that goes with my Canon flashes. Okay, time to put the papers away. Got a kink. Another kink. Again, these are not fun. I want to buy one of those really nice electric ones. Kink. Here you go, and then I can just tuck these up here for now and put them up later. Back up, and we're out. Well, the tour is officially of the garage is over. So actually, the more I thought about touring the garage, the crazier I thought it was. You can see Christopher's on the podcast desk. We're going to make a switch here in a second, but I want to show you a slide here first. So we're going to go like this. This should be the one, I hope. There you go. So this is the lighting setup. I just wanted to review this real quick. So I have these lights on my desk. So, and I actually with PowerPoint, I want you guys to show this. I could do a laser pointer too. So I have a key light on my left, a key light above my head, and those can be controlled by either my Stream Deck or my iPhone. Then above my head, I have the Godox UL150, Godox UL150, my track lights, and that switch is right over here in the hallway out of the bedroom. This is where the door is. This is the wall to the closet. And you can see my desk is tucked into the closet. It's kind of crazy that it's there. And then I got the MC lights scattered around me, one on the shelf, one over here underneath the TV. I've got these up above our heads. We need to turn those on right now. So I saved this for right now. So we're gonna grab the switch. And this switch right here has the lights. So this first switch right here should turn those puppies on. They came on. So that's some backlighting behind the podcast set. Hook those back up here. So again, 2 Godox lights with nice photo soft boxes. I like those because they come with the grids, and they're really good quality, and they're also like an umbrella. You just expand them out. You don't have to stick those rods in. I would never buy the ones that you have to stick the rods in. It takes forever. Buy something that just collapses like a umbrella and opens up. There's no reason not to invest the money. So 50 RS on each side, and they're hooked on to the Manfrotto auto pole. And then a lot of times I'll have this light, which is the MC light, up on the shelf. I actually didn't get it out tonight. It's over somewhere. And then this light has a Phillips bulb in it, as well as the LED lights you saw back here. And then the MC lights I have on the shelf right now. There's 3 of those, and I showed you guys that in the tour. Then if we go forward here, this is the podcast desk I wrote on here, and I can't figure out how to erase it. But so I can use the whacking pad when I'm at the desk. I have the Rodecaster Pro in this picture. I have my microphone stand. That's the PSA 1 by Rode. That's what's holding my SM7B, this microphone right here. Then I have my lights, my laptop. My PC is right here on top of my subwoofer. We have 2 stands on the desk with 2 pod mics, and I'll show you that when I get to the desk. Here's another pod mic. These are $100 a piece. These stands are like $30. You got a bar stool from the kitchen. Again, the 2 lights above my head, and that desk right here we did the demo of. That's the cover on a Costco desk. So that's the podcast set, and now we're going to switch over there, and Christopher and I are going to have a short conversation. First thing we want to do, like I normally do when I'm switching to the desk before I go live, is I'm going to do a sound check. I'll leave that mic on, but we're going to do a sound check. So, Christopher, would you check those mics now for me?
Check, 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 check.
Okay, the other mic?
Check, check, check.
Cool, we're good. So I'm going to mute this mic and head over to the table. Okay, I gave myself a little delay to get over here, but we'll just go into Mix Effects here and make the cut. There we go. We're there. So that was actually a macro that I programmed. This is my son, Christopher. Everybody say hi to Christopher. Christopher, say hi.
How you guys doing?
So my son and I have been actually on the road together. We've done some stuff here before, and so I wanted him to help me out. He's actually really into music, so tell them a little bit about the instrument you play, and just a little bit about, give him 5 minutes of your history.
I play guitar in a band. I also played drums at a couple different churches, filling in for them. A little bit about my history. When I was about 17, me and my buddy Darren, that I'm still in a band with, started a band. That kind of went from playing local shows to a record deal to living in Los Angeles, and then back home where we continued just creating bands and creating music. That turned into a small recording studio at my dad's.
Where'd that happen?
In the den at your house, and then that turned into a full-on big studio.
Yeah, we actually had a little recording studio right in the front door. To the left was a den. A lot of the houses in our neck of the woods will have a little room off of the entryway, and ours had like these 2 glass doors, and so we converted that room into a studio, put a sound booth in the corner. So remember how hot we get in there?
Yeah, it was pretty hot, especially for the drummer.
And then we put a drummer in there, and that room is smaller than this room we're in right now. So imagine having a control desk, a drummer, and a sound booth all built into here. I mean, the sound booth was 2x4 walls with insulation in it, with a door, with glass in it. It was pretty cool. And then what?
And then built a full-on studio. Put a new garage on front of the old garage, converted the old garage into a studio.
Didn't you do some concrete work in that?
Yeah, I did the floors in the control room. Yeah. Oh, and I broke out the driveway with a giant machine. I don't even know what it's called. And then, yeah, that was probably the scariest construction I've ever done, with a big backhoe or whatever it was.
Take those off unless you want to hear.
Just a big backhoe and dropping chunks of cement in a dump truck. Yeah, it was cool. It was fun.
So then you actually got approached by a label in California.
That was before that. Yeah,
that was before the studio.
So we went to LA and we're on the label for a while, and then our drummer stayed back and now is a producer in LA, and then me and 2 of the other guys from that band traveled back up here and started another band that actually was more popular than the band we had a record deal with. People still talk about it, and it ended in 2009.
Yeah.
But currently, I reconnected with the guy that played drums in the very first band I ever played in.
What was the name of your very first band?
Absent Minded.
Absent Minded. Is that kind of like a word from your childhood, your teenage years, high school years?
Yeah, pretty much.
My favorite song was what?
locker partner.
Locker partner. It's classic. And no, so Heath he's a producer.
Yeah,
he was your first drummer in LA, incredible drummer. He actually did the drums on your last album we recorded.
Yeah, Joe tracked him, and then Heath mixed the drums. Yeah, he's really good at auto-tune stuff, and not like the rap auto-tune, like the pitch correction.
You can actually
vocalists.
you can take a drum hit, like a bad tom hit, and you literally can replace it with a studio version of a tom hit. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is have the hit, know what tom it is, and you could just drop that in. So he made the drums sound amazing, and that album was never released. That was 5 songs, and that's still in the can somewhere.
Yeah, it still hasn't been released, and then the next band played those songs, and then our drummer left. Was in 2 bands, and he left ours, and now we reconnected with Matt from the first one, and we're going to just kind of replay those songs, but now we're writing brand new songs, and then once we have enough of those, we're going to fill in the blanks with the other ones, and then we're actually going to release both the new stuff and the old stuff, almost like a double EP or album, whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
we'll probably shoot a music video and all kinds of fun stuff when it's time to do that. So back to Matt. Matt actually runs sound in a big venue here in the Tri-Cities, and is an incredible, talented sound tech, does concerts with a company here in the area. And so it's just so cool to be interconnected with these people.
Yeah.
And then they're doing live streaming, and I've been able to spend some time with them. Did some consulting, even though they have some really cool gear. They have like an 8K ATEM. They have some Blackmagic cameras that they inherited from a venue in California. So it's just really cool. And Christopher's a part of that relationship with Matt. And that's cool because you've actually been able to go do some concerts, some backstage stuff with Matt, right?
Not like super big stuff, because he does sound for like big bands like Tool and some big rappers. It just depends whatever he ends up doing. But yeah, I've helped him out. For one of my favorite bands, Louder Milk, I was doing stagehand stuff for him. So
it's awesome. So Christopher actually lives here in the Tri-Cities, and again, I appreciate your help tonight, because obviously having someone in the background help me move the chairs in here to get this set up, and gives me someone to actually demo how a podcast could work. Because in reality, here I am in a 11.5 by 10.5 room, and we're able to do all this live streaming. We're able to have it still be a man cave, which we're going to demo here in a minute after our last little video. So you can see exactly us in here. I actually have ready on the TV here. The Xbox is fired up during the video you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed all that crazy stuff I have in the garage. I actually had to spend most of my Saturday cleaning up the mess, and I only got my half of the garage cleaned up, because the other half, we need to do some more organization, and that'll happen in the springtime. But at least you guys saw how we can go out there and shoot photographs and do green screen work. And we'll even do some green screen work for your video that we talked about back there. And because you don't have to worry about audio with a music video unless you're doing dialogue. And so we'll be able to do some really cool green screen stuff in there as well. So, so again, this is the podcast setup. I showed you guys the still image of the lighting setup. I'm going to go back to the main desk and show you guys just kind of last couple things that we want to talk about tonight. One of them is going to be showing you where I came from, because this set came out of my wife's podcast, More About Birth. And we talked about it. We were shooting it on the dining room table. And maybe in another episode, we'll talk about the dining room table set. It's a really cool set, surrounded by mostly windows. But it's just really hard to go out there with all that gear you saw in the garage and set up lights and soft boxes and take out cameras out of the studio. So we decided to move everything in here. We do the podcast right here. We change what's behind me. So there's a little bit of work to do in here, but this is the camera view that we do for my wife's podcast. Again, I'll put a link in the description below later this week, so you guys can come back and check that out. Also, again, go to my website, lifejourneyproductionsstudios.com, and go to the contact page and let me know if you would like to have the still images. From here, I'm going to give you a link that you can go into a Google Drive folder and download those. So you can get all these still images after that. Have a couple still images I want to show you of what will change if I get a new extreme ISO. So what do you think when you come in here and you see all this gear compared to when we had the recording studio? Is your dad crazy or what?
Well, I mean, it's all video production stuff, but it kind of looks the same, except for the back cape on the back of the chair makes it look like you have like Batman's, like the workstation from the 1989 Tim Burton Batman, like that thing. That's what it looks like from this point of view right now.
Yeah, my wife comes in here, Shannon, and she's completely, totally overwhelmed. And so I tell them just look at the camera when they're doing their podcast. Don't worry about the lights or any of the rest of that. And they do a pretty good job now after a couple years. So again, kind of pinch and mix effects. Here I am with my iPad, even though it's down to about 12, 13%, 19%, because I can charge it over at my desk, but I had it unplugged for my face cam. But I can switch right now using my macros. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut to a video clip, it's a short one, in my old bedroom set. So you're going to actually see me walk around the way it looked like on Saturday, which was yesterday. And then you're going to see some footage of me actually doing some product stuff in there. So you get a little picture of my desk set up, a little picture of what it looked like behind me. So I'm going to let you, that says bedroom studio tour. So hit that button. Okay, what we have here is my original location for my desk. So next to that dresser used to be my desk. It went around that corner. And that chair right there was in my man cave. That's Zoe's kennel. And then that's our tree for our patio. But we leave it in here during the wintertime. So got kind of a cabin theme in here. And this was kind of the view down this wall. And here's a picture of this desk and this set. Welcome to tonight's live stream. We're going to be looking at some microphones that we stream with, and hopefully it'll help you learn a little bit about how to stream live and getting good audio. Right now I'm hooking up things about the microphones and which ones are good to use and which ones are not good to use. Rode just came out with this. Wow, bummer. Sorry about that. Let me just refresh. Had the microphone muted. My bad. Again, Rodecaster pod mic, $90. We love this microphone. I wanted to touch base on that and just tell you it's got a little pop filter built into it. So too much movement in the studio. That's why we didn't have any audio. And then also, this is the version 1 of the DJI Mobile. I've had this for probably about 6 years. They have a newer version 3. I see it all the time when I go to Best Buy. So if you want a mobile gimbal when you're doing a walk around with an iPhone, I do have to take my my case off of this. This is an Otter case, so I had the case off when we were walking around the studio. But this just stabilizes it. The downside is with the first version, you can't hook a microphone up to the lightning port because of the way the phone slides in. I think they fixed that on the new one. But keep that in mind if you want to try to do like a wireless Go or something like that plugged into your phone. If you don't have a 3.5 jack on the side for that, if you only have a lightning port or a USB-C port on the bottom, keep that in mind because this older version slides right in there. And this is just the mount. This is what it looks like when you don't have the mount. But I bought the mount to go with it so I can just set it on a desktop and have it ready to go. This will also follow me. So there's actually in the DJI Mimo app, there's a follow mode, so I could actually have it follow me. It puts you in the center of the frame, so I don't necessarily think it's the greatest system at all, but if you want something that's going to follow you around, you could do that with a DJI gimbal. And same with some of the newer gimbals, but the phone has that ability to track inside it. You have to use a phone or a device now on the newer DJI gimbals if you want to do that face tracking. So, okay, so there is one more slide that I want to show you guys. So I'm going to change what's in SuperSource here. So we'll go to box 2 and we're going to change it to, I think it's Media Player 2, is it not? Let's see what's in Media Player 2 right now. Find a mouse that will work over here. I want this slide, let's see, Extreme 2. Okay, now let's bring in media player 2. That didn't work. What's going on here? That's what happens, Freddie, when you push the wrong button. So that was the key part of the media player. So in MixFX, it has the fill and the key inside the source for Super Source. So this is a slide. So if I was to add a new extreme ISO to my studio, I made these 2 slides. Here's the other one. I wanted you guys to see these tonight because it gives you kind of an idea of what I would do differently. I don't have time to go into these, but we are going to talk about this new setup and my ideas for 2022. So I prepared these 2 slides just to tease it a little bit tonight, and we'll go more in depth in the near future with this. And also, I love the new Wacom pad and the new Logitech Logi keyboard and the Logi mouse, the Pop mouse, just because of the ability to switch devices. So I really enjoy that. Again, so we have history clear back to a den studio and then a recording studio in my old house. Today, we really kind of focused on what's going on in this house, where I came from in the bedroom setup, and now where we are in the other side of the house, because this is the other side of the house. So most houses have the master bedroom. That's where my old studio was. Now I'm down the hallway with my son's room and my room next door to each other. And then there's a bathroom in the hallway, and that's kind of where my office is. And so we've taken you on that journey. You heard a little bit of the backstory with my son, Christopher, and it's amazing to have him on the live stream tonight. It was cool to have him here, and he's still behind me here, sitting in the corner. And Doug Forrest jumped on. So I wanted to say hi, Doug. So we did a studio. We're in the end of hour 2 and 10 minutes. So I want to wrap this up and thank you guys so much for joining me. Again, if you want to know anything about any of these tools, some of these videos, we're going to break up and upload them. I am going to put some timestamps in, but this is kind of a look at what I'd like to do with my studio going forward. This is how crazy my studio is now. I mean, there's so many different wires and so many different things going on. You can't even see all of the still image because part of it's behind me just because of the way this layout is right now. So we'll pop that up there, drop these up here, and then switch this up to that, and then go here to this macro as we wrap things up. And go back to super source, change input number to must have it keyed. So I'm not sure what is, oh, it dropped out. Let me go back in here, drop these in again, sorry. So there's a full screen look at that slide. And that's the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO 1. So this is what I would put in a new Extreme ISO, replacing my ATEM Mini Pro. And then this is what would be going on. And you guys can get these still images as well if you go on my website, get me your email and request them. So you can go on lifejourneyproductions.com, and I'll put the link in the notes tonight. And then here's what will be probably the way I'll set up my new Extreme that I've had in the studio for a while. I'll move camera 3 over to that, and you can kind of see how I plan on laying things out. I'll still be bringing in the Extreme ISO, but I'll be bringing in the channel 4. I want to keep my 3 cameras 1, 2, and 3 and channels 1, 2, and 3. And of course, there's faster ability to route through channel 1 and 2 in the Extreme, and channel 1 in the ATEM Mini Pro or ISO or ATEM Mini. And so if you want to bring an Xbox in and use it for gaming, you'd use channel 1. And in an Extreme ISO, Extreme, an ATEM Extreme, you have a fast port in 1 and 2. And the way you do that is just use the clean out. Great for projecting and all of that stuff, and using it for live events because those chips are set up to be better chips in 1 and 2, mainly to give you fast, low latency through output. So that's kind of the way that setup's going to be. Got to drop my logo in here so you guys can see me and not that slide. But that's kind of where I'm going. So not only did we do a studio tour where we are right now, showed you my ATEM Mini Pro, but all those switches, I think it's a little bit convoluted. So I'd love to just add eight inputs on that side of my desk. I like the idea of what I'd be able to do with Super Source. I like the idea of what I'd be able to do with those extra 4 upstream keys and 2 downstream keys. Haven't really processed all of that, but that's kind of where I'm thinking about going. So here it is, February 6th, 2022. That's the studio tour. Thank you so much for subscribing, getting me to 1,000 subscribers. I'll talk more about how I'm going to monetize on Tuesday night in the post show. I have a really good pre-show for you. The live is going to be talking about making graphics with a pre-multiplied key. We're going to talk a little bit about that and do that live. I have some other things that we're going to talk about in the post-show. And so I hope you guys will join me again on Tuesday. I did a poll. Everybody said they wanted more, not less. So we did tonight's live stream on Sunday. I won't normally be here on Sundays doing long live streams. This was a special tour of the studio. Shout out to the subscribers just to say thank you. You can't do a channel like this and actually be successful if people aren't listening, aren't sharing, aren't liking it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, and share this video. And they're too long for you, look forward to some of the mini uploads I'm going to do from tonight because I'm actually ISO recording in my extreme ISO. So again, I hope you enjoyed this tour. I want to thank Christopher. I want to thank my wife for tolerating me doing this on Saturday and Sunday. I want to thank those of you that have been supporting the channel and let you know that we have more exciting things coming up in 2022. And you never know, we may have a mobile rig to talk about with my old ATEM Mini Pro, and I may be replacing it sometime in the near future with another ATEM Extreme ISO. So again, I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios, and because of a great app by Adam Tao called MixFX, I can program my macros, I can reach over here on my iPad, and I can hit a button, and it's going to roll my outro. And so for that, I thank Adam, and I thank you, and we'll see you Tuesday night at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to be in the live show, and if you want to hang out for the post show, it's right after Tuesdays at 5:15, and I'm very excited to see you again then. Until then, thank you so much for all of you in the chat. I see Freddie. I see, I see El Take Alen. Mix Effect rocks. I didn't see you in the chat. Welcome. Sorry I missed you. I see, Noel. We said hi earlier. Again, I'm Freddie. If I missed any questions, don't see any questions. Thanks, Freddie, for the thanks. Well, I guess it does look like a NASA control station. That's a comment from Christopher. That's cool. Tom Buck, man, it's great to see you. I'm a big fan of Tom Buck. Go check out his channel if you haven't subscribed. Tom, you're here. Congratulations, man. That makes I'm a big fan. So can you see me blush a little bit, Tom? It's great to have you in the chat. Force Online as usual. It's great to see you, Doug. And Keith is live. Thank you. Noel, and let's see who else I met here. Christopher, I said hi. Conjoined Technology, thank you. I think I hit everybody. I don't think I missed anybody. Go back a ways. Let's see. Indy was here tonight. Thank you, Indy. Now I can talk at my normal voice range. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Conjoined Technologies. Check out these channels. Make sure you subscribe to them. So much better with the gimbal. Yeah, thank you, Freddie, for that comment. I did bust the gimbal out, had to charge batteries. It's been in a case for months and months without being used. So we'll use that more often when we get up and go mobile. I think I hit everything. I apologize if I missed your question. I just wanted to take a minute and look at those before we go. So that's it. We're going to bust out. It's been 2 hours and almost 20 minutes. That's way longer than I thought we would be, but I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes look. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for those of you that joined me tonight. And thank you so much for your support of this channel. And we're looking forward to seeing what's next in 2022. So pop on over to all these other people's channels that were on the live chat tonight and check them out, subscribe to them, and give them some thumbs ups and some support as well, because we are a YouTube community and it's great to be a community with all of you guys. So again, I'm not going to hit the garage tour button this time. I'm not going to hit the bedroom studio tour. I'm actually going to hit the outro. So let's see how we do. Until next time, I'm Keith, Life Journey Production Studios, and we're out.